Norfolk State University Spartans, the Florida A&M Rattlers. 13 News Now presents the Auto Connection, a battle to behold. NSU versus FAMU postgame show.
The first thing that we have to do is talk about what's happening right now.
It's a battle of the bands post-game.
The bands are still going. The game is over. They don't know it. They don't care.
Welcome to being a HBCU.
This is new
That's
for me.
That's a HBCU battle, baby.
The bands are going back and forth. People are everywhere. There's people dancing. There's people. The stands are still like 30% full.
Not bad for 14-point underdogs to push it.
Bad. And I'm going to have to correct you, which I never do because you're always right.
I think it was 14.
17 and a half point underdogs for Norfolk State. So now that we've talked about the bands, I want to talk about something else.
Yes.
I'm so happy college football's back.
Who are you telling?
I mean, this is incredible.
We weren't expecting this.
No.
And the fact that we got what we got makes it even sweeter.
There was a really good chance this would be a blowout.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
Not only was it not a blowout, this was a great football game that we saw tonight.
And you have to say now, Dawson Odum's NSU program is back.
So let's move on to that point. Let's move on to that point, right? Personally, as someone who works in the Norfolk area, I'm so proud of this Spartan team.
Yes.
I mean, talk about what you felt watching them tonight.
Not just tonight. Think about over the last couple of years since Dawson Odum took over this program. He had to go through COVID. He had to get guys coming, and then finally gets his guys. Over the last 2 years, people were finding it hard to believe, we're not really sure. They are back now. That maturity. The guys were talking about that leading up to this week. They're mature. They're together. There's a oneness with them. If not for literally 3 straight sacks in the third quarter on Jalen Daniels, this could be a different game.
And if not for a decision that we are going to talk about at length in this show, that 2-point decision will be discussed by you and me, and I have a feeling we're going to disagree on it.
Well, we might, but then you got to think about too. We'll get to that, but think about too the botched field goal, a chance to 3 points. 3 points they made.
Now I was down on the field. You're talking about in the first half.
In the first half,
that was not a blocked field goal. That was a muffed
punt.
And it was easier to see from down here. I was on the field. Brian Smith was up top. We got all the angles covered for you guys. Now we'll get to all that. Let's go right from the beginning. Let's go to the highlights. Let's talk about this first half.
Yes. Okay. What a first half it was.
I mean, what a first half. What a first drive for Norfolk State.
Wow. The running game's back.
The running game is absolutely back, and it wasn't just any running back.
No.
It was Oscar Smith legend, Kevon King.
A guy we profiled in the pregame show.
We profiled him in the pregame show. We profiled him last week. He told us he was going to have a big season. Man. If tonight is any indication, nearly 150 yards rushing.
Officially 14 carries, 146 yards, 2 touchdowns.
And that first touchdown, 82 yards to the crib to give Norfolk State a 7-0 lead to start this thing.
And then you got Jalen Daniels, nice rushing touchdown from a yard out, made it look easy, and all of a sudden it was 14-0, and we're all looking wow.
And let me talk, let's give us some kudos real quick. I'm starting to think we're clairvoyant because we talked about his size.
Yes.
6'5", over 200 pounds, how that would be effective. They get down to the goal line, and he's able to push that ball over using his height, using his size. So it's 14-0 Spartans. They're cruising.
Had them.
But Florida A&M they're the Rattlers, but they're a team full of dogs.
Man.
And I'll tell you what else. That drive where the Florida Rattlers made it 14-7.
Yes.
Some astounding athletic plays by their playmakers, right?
Yeah. Daniel Johnson, I believe. Yeah.
I mean, we had a hurdle in there. We had a wild catch in the end zone.
Yes.
And so all of a sudden it's 14-7.
Yeah.
Okay. Norfolk State gets the 3 and out. And now they're back on defense, and Florida A&M is driving.
Yeah.
And this is where I think you really, truly see the fact that this Norfolk State program has taken a turn. I'm going to tell you why.
Why?
Florida A&M is driving. They've got all the momentum. They are headed for the end zone. They take a shot at the end zone to tie it up 14-14. Devin Allen an Ocean Lakes grad from Virginia Beach.
There you go.
A pass deflection in the end zone to prevent the touchdown. Then they get a tackle for a loss, and instead of a touchdown, they give up a field goal. Norfolk State teams we may have seen in the past, all of a sudden it's 14-14 and FAMU runs away with it.
Instead it's 14-10, and they're actually doing well, maturing, playing well.
Yes, I thought their physicality was great.
Yes.
I thought all around they kept their cool in the moments where FAMU tried to assert their dominance.
Yes, and the secondary too, you got to give them credit too.
Right.
What defensive plays that were played by the secondary is incredible.
Absolutely. Devin Allen especially had some flash plays.
Yes.
He had a big pass interference late that we'll get to, but I thought he played a tremendous game. Now, we go into halftime, and it's 14-10. We come out of halftime, another example of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
FAMU comes out, big explosive play for the touchdown, 55-yard touchdown, and all of a sudden, just like that, Norfolk State does all that work in the first half, and they're down. Yeah. What do, Brian? Do they fold?
Nope. Defending national champions don't do that.
They come. Well, no, I'm talking about Norfolk State.
Oh, Norfolk State. Yes,
it's 17-14. They're down.
Battle back.
They come right back and get a field goal. 17-17. It's a resilience that we haven't necessarily seen all the time in the past couple of years.
And you know, from this point forward, it's only going to get better.
It's only going to get better.
It's only going to get better.
And that's the thing that we're going to have to really discuss here. Is I'm so excited for the rest of this Norfolk State season. So, all right, so let's go back. So we've got 17-17, and then FAMU scores again. Those playmakers they've got on the outside, that makes it 24-17. And then things slow down for a little bit. You called it. A couple of sacks. They start getting to Jalen Davis.
In a row. I was just floored, and all of a sudden the air seemed to come out. And I was like, wait a minute. But then they come back. Again, they still rally.
Another moment where it would have been so easy to fold. It would have been so easy to fall back and say, all right, FAMU, you got this game. That's not what they do.
No.
FAMU driving again. Norfolk State forces a fumble. They recover that ball, and they head back the other way. Kevon King, we already talked about him. Oscar Smith grab. He gets the touchdown. So now Norfolk State is going for the extra point to tie things up. That's blocked, but we've got a penalty, which means that ball gets placed right on the goal line. There are 6.5 minutes to play in this game. That ball is right on the goal line. You can either kick an extra point for a tie, or you can go for 2 and try to get yourself a win. And they decide to go for 2.
I liked it.
I liked it too.
I liked it. I mean,
loved it.
Why not? I mean, if you go down swinging.
I can't believe we agree on
that. What? We agree sometimes.
We agree sometimes. I did not think we were going to agree on this. I love it. Once you get the penalty, you are ready to score a touchdown. You are right there. You get a couple extra yards. And number 2, I just love the moxie. Show your guys you believe in them. Show your guys, I think you guys can win this game, not just play for overtime.
Exactly.
They go for it. They don't get it. And so now they're down 1. They try to get the stop on FAMU. They use their timeouts. FAMU starts running that football, and they're able to kind of, salt the clock away.
And at this point, they're not that team that, they've lost some. They didn't seem to lose much. They really pushed themselves to a win. So, well,
that's good. And we'll talk about Daniel Johnson as well, the quarterback for FAMU. He had some really excellent moments. But so did Jalen Davis.
Absolutely.
I mean, really,
a lot to be proud of and a lot to be excited about.
Absolutely.
Well, we're going to be right back.
We're going to be right back. Don't go away. We've got a lot to be excited
about. We still got more. We got guests. So
we got guests coming. Listen, you don't have to hear us talk the whole time.
No.
We know that was a lot. We got guests coming.
Yes.
We'll be right back.
Welcome back to our post-game show. With us, offensive coordinator for the Spartans, Jason Phillips. How proud are you of this team? I mean, it's just the way they play.
Yeah, I think you can't do anything but be proud of them. Just the way they fought through adversity, ups, downs, roller coasters. We're not immune to knowing that most people don't expect us to be in this ball game. And they, cut all those distractions out. We had a really good camp. So we kind of expected it. No one else may have, but we kind of expected those guys to rise to the occasion. I feel terrible that we're a yard short, but you can't help but be proud of those guys and the effort and the fight and the toughness that they showed for 60 minutes against the defending national champions. So it's tough. No one wants to go home, ride this bus with a loss. But yeah, you can't help but be proud of these guys.
You mentioned a yard short. The 2-point decision. Down one, about 6.5 to play. You get the penalty on the extra point, so you advance the ball. What went into that decision? What were the discussions behind that?
I think it was just we had run the ball so well all night. We needed 1.5 yards. Our offensive line, running back, the running game, strength of our offense. So I think we got all the faith in the world that we could get 1 yard. Obviously we had some issues communication-wise with the snap. It didn't go our way, but I think, we would do it again. Just the confidence that we have in those guys up front and the guys carrying the ball. So it's disappointing, but they played great. They played great, and there'll be stuff to fix, first game errors and things like that. But if we can get that effort consistently, we're going to be a very good football team.
Your assessment of Jalen Daniels' performance in this game?
We tried to probably protect him a little bit too much in the first half and just let him get settled. Obviously, you saw starting out in the second half, he could throw it a mile. We got some receivers who could really make some plays, but I think he managed the game well. I think we had one delay game. That was really probably more my fault than his early in the first half. But I think that he settled in and kind of had guys believing in him, and that's what we really needed to do.
That's how in sync you guys are. I made you into one person. That's coordinator, quarterback communication.
Yes,
how proud are you of Kevon King and his performance tonight?
I think that you can't say enough of just the confidence that he brings. He feels like when the ball's in his hands, he can make it happen. I think that when you can hand the ball off and go 80, it makes life a lot easier for me. But I think, hopefully this is one for him to build on and get some even more confidence. And that whole room is, and I think it was him tonight, but that whole room has really got some guys that can step up and do that on a consistent basis. So I'm proud of all those guys, and especially him, making a bunch of plays tonight.
We were just talking about the fact that the mood of the locker room, that you literally said we should have won this game.
Absolutely. I don't think there's a person in the locker room that doesn't feel like we should be celebrating, holding up a trophy, enjoying our bus ride back a lot better. But, it's part of it. I've been in this game. This is my second time here. Our goal is ultimately to play in the big stadium down the street more so. And I feel like we're capable of doing that. We're capable of winning our league and hopefully get another shot at these guys and see if we can make up another yard.
Coach, you and I spoke about, you told me you wanted to create more explosives with this offense. Do you feel like you executed that aspect of things up to your level of expectation?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you're going to, wish you had a couple more. We had a couple guys open. We had a couple cuts that I think we could have made. But, I mean, that's what the challenge was is, get the explosives, create momentum plays. And I know we had a big pass there to start out our first possession in the second half, really to answer their score when they took the lead. And I thought that was huge for our team, huge for our quarterback, and just, carrying that momentum. You just got to continue to do it and keep working it and, just continue to get better.
I get a sense that this team's going to rebound off that 1-point loss with a lot of zest right now. Do you feel that?
Yeah, I feel like there's hurt in the locker room. We should have won the game. I think, obviously right after it's over, there's, emotions and things like that. But I think once we, watch the film and assess where we did well, what we did wrong, I think that they're going to look back and say, hey, we're a really good football team that was a yard away from beating the defending national champions. And we're going to, hopefully take that, carry it forward, get into MEAC a little bit later in the year. And like I said, try to be down at Mercedes-Benz in a few more months. So.
Last one from us, Coach. You're in Mississippi for about a decade. Yeah. You finally get up to Norfolk, and they send you right back to SEC country. Yeah. Are you guys ready to get back to Hampton Roads?
Absolutely. It's a long trip. It was good. Like I said, this is a great experience, especially for our guys. You can't beat ABC. These guys just, getting that opportunity, I think is huge. You can't say enough about how they played and just how disappointing it is. But I think, like I said, once we get back home, the dust settles. I think we'll understand that we got to a shot to be a pretty daggone football team.
You deserve a trip to the beach, Coach.
I was going to say.
Thanks so much
for joining us.
Appreciate you taking the time.
Offensive coordinator Jason Phillips joining us for tonight after the Spartans lost 24-23, a close one.
No.
We're not done.
No.
We still got some more. We should be hearing from head coach Dawson Odum.
Here goes the Spartan
and
Legion.
The Spartan Legion just coming through right now.
Is out of here. The Spartan Legion at halftime, by the way, lived up to every expectation that there could have possibly
Let's hope so.
All right, we'll be right back. Yeah.
Yep, we'll be right back.
We'll be here. So,
welcome back.
Welcome back, Brian. Did you notice something?
What's that?
I called offensive coordinator Jason Phillips, Jalen Phillips.
They meshed
Jalen
together.
Daniels is the quarterback. You know what it is?
What?
Delirium may be setting in, which means things are going to get fun.
Yes.
It's going to be a little weird out here.
Yes.
But before we get weird, we got to stick with some business because we've worked decently hard. No one's worked harder than Dawson Odum to get this team to this point.
4 years.
Yeah.
To get to this point, and to put it mildly, he has to be proud of this team. In fact, we just got from his press conference. So let's hear from head coach Dawson Odum after his team's incredible but tough loss to FAMU.
You guys got a chance to see an entertaining football game because many of you probably didn't expect that, but I've been explaining to people we got a good football team. And we got to believe that. But once that belief kick in, Spartans going to be hard to deal with this year. And we got a chance to put a lot of people on notice. I'm proud of these guys, the coaches, our program. We done came a long way. We came up 1 point short. But what I tell our guys is that I can be excited for victory. I'm humble in loss because I always try to find the positives. We ran the football, and for the most part of the game, we stopped the run. We held a really good football team in check for the most of the game, and we was in a football game all the way to the last horn.
Shows you a lot about Dawson Odum, the head coach, coaching him up.
Yeah.
Some coaches might be disappointed over something like this. No, Dawson Odum knew his team was up against somebody, and his team had enough pride to go, we're not going to let you get away with it.
There's a word that he used multiple times that I think is key here, and that's belief.
Yes.
Right?
And that's the key, belief.
You can do the work, you can have the talent, but when you've had a couple of down years, you need to believe that you can win games. You need to believe that you can overcome adversity. And a game like this, despite the loss, could absolutely instill belief in this Spartan team that they can make noise in the MEAC. So I thought it was key that he used that word multiple times. And like you said, clearly disappointed, but obviously optimistic.
Yeah.
So we're excited to get back to Hampton Roads.
As Jason Phillips, offensive coordinator for Norfolk State, put it best, he says, no, there's no down heads. They feel, you talked about him talking about the belief, they already know, because they know they should have won this game. So that says a lot about what Dawson Odum has done to bring this program back now.
Yeah. And down on the sideline, when FAMU would make their runs, the Spartans did not lose that belief. They kept each other up. They kept pushing. They communicated constantly. There were players that clearly were trying to lend energy to their teammates to make sure that this team stayed up, stayed believing. And they absolutely did to the very end. This game came down to a couple of bounces, a couple of plays. They didn't go the Spartans' way this time.
And it says a lot, too, about the changing culture, which they've been saying since we've been saying this during the preseason.
Great point.
Culture has changed in this program, and it was evident tonight. Even though it was a 1 point loss, it was evident tonight.
Brian Smith, you're on point, and there's no way I can say anything more astute than that. That was
sure
perfect.
You can.
So let's do one more break here.
You got it.
And then we'll be here. We'll talk one more time. We've got one more guest coming. We're going to wrap this thing up. But for now, we'll be right back.
Welcome back to a battle to behold. NSU against FAMU. Spartans just coming up short 24-23 with us. The voice of the Spartans, Ross Gordon. Your assessment of the season opener for the Spartans from Atlanta.
It could have gone a little bit better with the win. But other than that, You like what you see. You come to a nationally televised ball game and you don't choke on it. You just go do a good job of making solid defensive plays until the end when I think we were a little bit tired. And offense looked good moving the football, especially when Jalen Daniels got going throwing the football. It was a good thing to see.
Well, Ross, I want to know, we're all working, but we also all really support Norfolk State.
Right.
But at what point did you start to say, I think we actually might win this?
I thought maybe the way we started. That was a great thing. I know a lot of people say it's not how you start, it's how you finish. But it's also how you start in game number one. And we got out to such a good roll with Jalen handing the ball off. And, you like to start establishing a run. Jalen was 7 of 9 throwing the football. Maybe a couple more passes next week as they start to integrate him a little bit more. But you saw things. You see, hey, we can get better here. You can do a little bit better here. So, besides special teams, I think we did amazing on both sides of the ball tonight.
Talk a little bit about the alumni you've talked to over the week. Did you get a chance to talk to anybody who's coming down? What does it feel being on national TV? Are they proud of how these Spartans played tonight?
I think so. I believe that they're not only proud, but I think we did our conference good today. You look in the stands. There was a lot of orange. We were 2.5 hours away from Tallahassee, but it was a lot of green and gold here. Our band performed well. Our football team performed well, and that's all you can ask for. You make sure you put a great product on the field, but also show a lot of school spirit. And this week, from Wednesday to today, has been amazing down here in Atlanta.
Oh, we'll wrap it up with that. Ross Gordon, the voice.
I do want to mention, speaking of Wednesday to today.
One more, yes.
Well, we've been hanging out with Ross all weekend. We all work in Norfolk. We all work with Norfolk State a lot.
Yep.
We've seen you more here in Atlanta than all the time we spent in Norfolk. Are you going to miss us when we all go back home?
He's not sick of us yet.
Listen, these two things I've gotten with WVEC that I haven't gotten ever. Zoom meetings. I've never been in Zoom meetings with you guys, and now I'm on TV with you guys. I love it. Why not do it again?
We're here. Ross is part-time now. Part-time WVEC.
Let me get you the Social Security number first.
Thanks for joining us. Appreciate you,
my man. Voice of the Spartans, Ross Gordon.
Everything for the Spartans.
Yeah.
I see him rolling around with a camera.
Of course.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Does it all.
Now, the one thing he doesn't do is coach this football team, maybe one day.
Like Dawson Odum.
And I've heard more from Dawson Odum at the podium. Let's throw it over to Coach.
We literally ran the ball down the HBCU national champ's throat tonight.
Yes, sir.
We bullied them up and down the field all night long in the running game. So why would we stop? I mean, I don't have no stat sheet, but I'm quite sure our rushing yards are something they're not accustomed to. If you go look at the stats from a year ago, they went top 10 in all categories when it comes to defense. But I've always said with our football team is that we believe we can run the football on anybody. I mean, I think our offensive line is one of the best in the country. I think our offensive coaches do a great job. And I think our offensive coordinator said, we'll take them 5 yards and we'll take them 10 yards. But when you can run the football like that, that's why we was in this ball game. We kept the ball game close. We controlled the time of possession. We played winning football. Winning football ain't pretty, but it's winning football. Football is all about giving your team the best chance to win week in and week out. And some weeks you can run the ball. Some weeks you might have to throw the ball. But tonight, the running game gave us a chance to win a football game. And I'm proud of these guys and how they ran it.
And, of course, Dawson Odum's talking about his offensive coordinator, who we just spoke with, Jason Phillips. Proud of this team.
Yeah.
Good night. A lot to show for it.
That offensive line did look good.
It did.
And they finally got some experience. Last thing I want to highlight.
What's that?
A huge play in the end zone from Devin Allen, Ocean Lakes grad.
Yes.
Probably the player of the game for Norfolk State.
Local products.
Oscar Smith grad. This team is built with guys from Hampton Roads. They came down to Atlanta and they put on a show. I'm ready. When's week 2? I'm ready for the rest of the season.
Yeah, well, we got to wrap this up first.
You know what? Good call.
We'll get
some food, and then we'll go get ready for week 2.
We would like to thank a few people, Ashley Berry, Tierra Schultz, our news director, for helping us put this all together for a battle to behold, among others who escaped right now.
You know Tierra missed having us around.
I know.
She's so ready for us to get back.
I know.
We'll be there soon.
For Connor Rhiel, I'm Brian Smith. We're live from Atlanta. Thank you for watching our post-game show of a battle to behold. Norfolk State against Florida A&M Spartans, losing a tough one by a final of 24-23.
Welcome to Atlanta, where the players play.
That's right. Good night, everybody. Take care.